is it right?
Welcome to the newest edition of T&I News with your host, JC. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to a Wednesday live stream, and we're going to start things off with some breaking news just literally minutes ago. So Hasbro has announced another fan stream for this coming Friday with the Star Wars brand team, and they're going to be finally officially announcing the HasLab for Star Wars. So it's going to be taking place at 11 a.m. on this coming Friday. And, we pretty much know, I think we know what it is with the cantina, which kind of leaked out before. So let me just find that, because that was a few weeks ago. Because of course, we were supposed to get the announcement, on Star Wars Day, May the 4th, and then it got canceled for whatever, and then it got leaked on the Hasbro Pulse website. So I should have had this story pulled up. There we go. So, yes, supposedly this is what the HasLab's going to be this year, a Cantina playset for Vintage Collection. We know definitely it's going to be for Vintage Collection because Hasbro told us that, but then again, this image leaked out. Unclear exactly how it's going to work. The price, $400, $500, two different versions, a deluxe version or whatever. I don't know. There was some weird things on that. So, but we're going to get the official announcement this coming Friday. So whatever it is, I'm going to assume it's the cantina, but maybe it was like a fake out. Maybe they were like, oh, let's leak this fake HasLab, and then we'll come back and announce something totally different. But I guess it is the cantina. And like I say, we'll get those full details this coming Friday. All right, so there you go. Breaking news literally just minutes before we went online here. But let's do a quick head count. Who's here? Looks like it's not a lot of people chiming in right now, but Mr. Allmine is in the house. So what's up? Zim is in the house. Good to see you. Mr. Allmine says, so excited for the Star Wars Bad Batch of Hunter being reissued. My original order got canceled. Cool. Yeah, I was going to talk about that. So, yeah, since we're in Star Wars, we'll stick with the Star Wars news theme. And so, yes, new reissues were announced today, went up for pre-order today. So the original Season 1 Bad Batch members, Hunter and Crosshair, if you missed out on those figures, they're now available for pre-order at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Again, these are just straight up reissues, along with Dr. Aphra from the comics. So last week we got the reissues of her droids, and now we're getting Aphra herself. So if all these have been out before, but if you missed them, you can now pre-order them once again. So, and then yesterday we got some reveals for some new store exclusives. I know, right? Store exclusives for Star Wars. Shocker. So we've got a new Mandalorian 2-pack, the Shrike Trainers, which will be available online at some later date, probably the next Walmart Collector Con, which I'm guessing is probably going to be sometime next month, but we don't have an official date on that yet. But we do have this 2-pack, which, like I say, will probably be released during that. So some more Mandalorians. And then coming to Target is the Mandalorian Shrike figure. So if you want the 2-pack, you got to go to Walmart. And if you want this one, then you got to go to Target. So, and again, we don't have any kind of specific details on when this is going to be made available or when it might go up for pre-order on Target's website. So, we'll have to wait and see. But probably this one, I'm guessing, will probably be available before the Walmart one is. Just a guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get the Walmart or the Target one goes up for pre-order before the Walmart one. And then, like I say, the Walmart one is probably going to be offered during the Walmart CollectorCon event. So there's your Star Wars news for the day. Now, the new Acolyte series premiered on Disney Plus yesterday with 2 episodes. I watched them last night. I won't go into any spoilers for the show, but I've seen a lot of people hating on it, and I've seen some people say it's really great. I've seen, getting it decent reviews from like professional reviewers, but I've seen a lot of people hating on it as well. I basically fell in the middle there where I was like, it wasn't horrible. There were some kind of corny things I thought, like having a fire break out in outer space, the vacuum of space. That was kind of cheesy. But overall, I didn't think there wasn't enough of the story that was really revealed in the first 2 episodes to be able to really make a decision on whether I think this is going to be good or not. But I mean, I'm interested enough that I'll keep watching this series. I will say I think it's a missed opportunity. For those not familiar, it's about the Jedi about 100 years before the prequel movies. This series takes place and essentially focuses on the Jedi of this time period, who of course are in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and all that stuff. So one thing I will say, missed opportunity, is that we don't have characters like Yoda, a younger Yoda in this series, so that we could maybe get some more about Yoda's origins, and maybe some of the other Jedi like Plo Koon and stuff that were in the prequel movies. So, it's all new Jedi that we've basically, at least so far, that basically we've never seen before. So I do think that's kind of a missed opportunity. Jedi, again, this is 100 years before the prequels, but somebody like Yoda should still be alive. He might not be, as wise and such as we have seen him in the movies. But again, that's where I see like that was a missed opportunity not to have that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's your Star Wars news for the day. Rich is in the house. Toy Newman is there. Eric is now joining us. Aunt Jemima is in the house. Star Wars is back, baby. Eric is in the house. John Estrada. Bob, the awesome Bob. Let's see. Saw my first Mad Max film recently with Furiosa, and I felt like I wanted it to be over so bad. It was bland, and the story were bland, and the plot points were not explored much. So there's Bob's review of the new Mad Max film. I got to be honest with you. I have never watched an entire Mad Max movie, any of the Mad Max movies in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of some of the older ones with Mel Gibson. I have not seen like the modern one that I guess this one's a sequel of or whatever. I've not seen it all, so I'm not really a Mad Max fan or expert, but I have seen people kind of bashing that movie, and it did appear to bomb at the box office. Eric says he needs to watch that movie. Fury Road. Yeah, that was the more recent one. And that one was received pretty well. Again, I haven't watched it, but that one seemed to have been received very well. But the Furiosa one, I guess, just missed the mark or something. If I'm not mistaken, Chris Hemsworth is like the bad guy in that movie. So Eric says, last one I watched was Thunderdome. Really liked that one. I've seen bits and pieces of Thunderdome. Tina Turner was in that movie. I remember it was a big deal back in the day because she was in that movie. The original Mad Max is probably the one I've seen the most of. But again, even that one, I don't think I've ever watched in its entirety. All right, so let's move on to the main subject of the day, which is GI Joe. So yesterday we had the live stream for GI Joe, YoJoe June, as it were. So most of the things we talked about on Monday's live stream ended up, being true and was what was announced. Um, we'd already seen some stuff leak out on Monday. And then after the live stream on Monday, we continued to get leaked images for GI Joe. And then, of course, yesterday we got the official reveal. So let's just go over everything that was announced. So the figures that went up for pre-order this week, yesterday, were those mainline figures of Alpine, Storm Shadow version 2, the Iron Grenader. I'm going to call it Grenader. They pronounced it differently in the live stream, but I've always pronounced it Grenader. So I'm going to stick with that. So the Iron Grenader and the Bat Grenader were the 4 mainstream items, and those all 4 went up for pre-order yesterday. So that's why those images leaked out early, because those were the pre-orders. I could go into a long story about how all that works, but who really cares? Anyway, those are your mainstream items. I've seen people have kind of mixed feelings on these. A lot of people, I like the Alpine. I think they did a pretty good job with it. Not quite the full-on classic, and no, he doesn't appear to have a backpack, but I thought they did a pretty good job. The bat, you get this alternate cartoon series bat head, so you could probably use that with your regular bat if you wanted to. And then you get this Iron Grenader bat head sculpt. And then the Grenader himself. Not quite the Truon classic look, but I think it looks pretty good overall. But I will say, why are we getting Iron Grenaders and Bat Grenaders and still no sign of a Destro, an Iron Grenader Destro with the gold mask. So we definitely need that. Storm Shadow version 2, this is probably the one I'm least interested in. It's not that I really think it looks like a bad figure, though. I have nicknamed this figure Tetris Storm Shadow because it looks like he's got little Tetris pieces all over his suit. But I'm just not a fan of good guy Storm Shadow. I have the Arctic Storm Shadow that they did already, so I really don't feel like I need another good guy version of Storm Shadow. The original classic Storm Shadow is my go-to Storm Shadow, so it's not that I really think it's a bad-looking figure. This is not my preferred version of Storm Shadow. So, and then again, Alpine has a removable hat and goggles, and overall, I think it'll look good with Quick Kick and Bazooka. So yeah, so those are your figures that went up for pre-order yesterday. Now, I mentioned on Monday, I was like, it's supposed to be YoJoe June, as in the whole month is supposed to be dedicated to GI Joe, but pretty much we're just getting the reveals this week. But I guess because Hasbro is breaking up the pre-orders in 3 different weeks, so a pre-order every week for GI Joe this month, that's how it's YoJoe June. So next week, pre-orders are going to be the retro carded figures of Cobra Commander, Stalker, and the Cobra Soldier. So let me get down. To that. So let's go over the digital render reveals. So we've got a Saw Viper. So this is, we knew these were coming because they gave us these names before, but now we have the digital render reveals. So Saw Viper and Dial Tone. So Another communication officer to go with Breaker is coming to the line. These are some of the in-hand images of the figures we just talked about from yesterday's live stream. If you want to take like the Iron Grenadier head sculpt from the bat and put it on the regular soldier body, you can do that. I do like this backpack. They do a pretty good job with, getting all the weapons, all his weapons. All right, so here's one of the retro card back figures. So we're getting an updated Stalker, which looks much more like the original Stalker figure. Cobra Soldier, or Cobra Trooper, I guess is now. I always used to call it Cobra Soldier and Cobra Officer. Cobra Soldier with the red logo on his chest and the Cobra Officer with the silver. But I guess it is now technically Cobra Trooper. So, and this is the third time that we're getting a Cobra Soldier Trooper figure, because we got the original Target one, and then they did a general release and with the darker skin, and now we've got this retro card back version. So I'll probably get at least one of these, and then Cobra Commander. So only with battle helmet, unfortunately, no hood, like what some people were had thrown out there as coming. But we do get the chrome faceplate, which I think looks pretty good. So I definitely will be picking this one up. These retro card back figures go up for pre-order next week. These will be fan channel releases at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. You get the file cards and stuff. Now, this Marauder 2-pack with Low Light and Spirit, this is going to be a Pulse exclusive. This is going to be going up on the 18th, so not next week, but the following week. This one will be going up along with Sergeant Slaughter. So Slaughter is actually going to be released at places pretty much everywhere. Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Amazon will have this one as well. I guess Walmart and Target won't be carrying this one, but most of your online e-tailers, including Amazon, are going to have the Sergeant Slaughter figure, Marauder figure. So, and again, that's going up for pre-order not next week, but the following week after that, along with the Cobra Stinger Jeep. So, and again, unlike previous vehicles, this is not going to be just released on Hasbro Pulse, but this will be released on Amazon and again, places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. So, this is the first vehicle that they've done, basically, not counting like the Target exclusive repaints, but the first vehicle that they've done that is being released as pretty much a general release. So I speculate like the Vamp, which was released as a limited Hasbro Pulse exclusive, was $100. Being this has a wider release, I'm curious to see what the price is going to end up being. You do get added like blast effects and stuff, so it may still be like $100 because they're throwing in the extra added things. But being a wider release, meaning they're going to be producing more of these than the Vamp, I would assume, that might help bring the cost down a little bit. So we'll just have to see. I'm not holding my breath, but I would say maybe there's a slight possibility it could be a little cheaper than the Vamp was. But overall, it looks good to me. Definitely plan on picking one up for myself. Some more pictures. These are the same pictures we already looked at. Yeah, so that. Now, the name reveal yesterday, they only gave us one name reveal yesterday, which is Footloose. So Footloose was kind of, he was like an infantry type guy, but he was also he talked like a surfer dude. from California in the cartoon. That's so Footloose is coming. Um, Rich says Sarge comes with his itty ditty bag. So yes, it does. Eric says Sarge will be his. Judge Dreads thinks that the Stinger is going to cost the same as the Vamp because it's Hasbro, and I don't disagree. It won't be if it's more than $100. I would be shocked, but probably will end up being about the same price as the Vamp. Though again, maybe they could shave $10 off. Rick says the vehicle makes me want to keep my Hiss tank. I've been trying to sell. Ooh, why are you trying to sell your Hiss tank, man? That thing is. I love the Hiss tank. And, you can see it on display behind me, but that's a man. I have no. Even if I stopped collecting GI Joe tomorrow, I don't think I would sell the stuff that I have. I would still keep it to enjoy it. So yeah, I think you should definitely hold on to that thing. I think you'll regret it if you end up selling it. Eric says there's a variant of the Steel Brigade in one of the photos. I don't remember seeing that, but I'll take your word for it, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me. I see you're talking about one of the press releases, like in the background, they like to stick those little. Not seeing it, but again, I'll take your word for it. Like, I don't know who this guy on the ground is. Like, this bat's about to shoot somebody on the ground, but I don't know who that is. Oh, this is probably what you're talking about. I can't tell. Yeah, I see what you're. It is. Yep, you're right. Like with, think with maybe some darker colors or something. Can't say I'm be that interested in getting another one, but yeah, you can see a couple of them laying on the ground there and stuff. So yeah, they like to throw those little Easter eggs in their press images. All right, so other little tidbits of news coming from yesterday's live stream. They told us that the GI Joe HasLab announcement is going to be coming during San Diego Comic Con. So, and I'll get into more details on that in just a second here. They also said they started towards the end of the live stream. They started talking about an exclusive that they're going to have at San Diego, and they weren't terribly clear, like whether they were talking about an exclusive that they're going to reveal at San Diego Comic Con, or whether they were talking about an exclusive that they're going to be offering at San Diego Comic Con. I mean, obviously, there will be a GI Joe classified uh, exclusive, though I don't know if it'll actually be on hand at Comic Con. In recent years, while they still call them San Diego Comic Con exclusives, you basically can only pre-order them at Comic-Con, and then of course you can also pre-order them online, and then they ship them out later in the year. So it's been a while since I've actually had Comic-Con exclusives on hand at Comic-Con. So we'll have to see what they do this year in regards to all of their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, not just GI Joe. But getting back to the HasLab, so you may recall, what was it? Back in 3 months ago, I did a live stream where I talked about my speculation for the GI Joe and the Marvel Legend HasLab. So seems like a lot of people have kind of started saying Cobra Rattler for this year's HasLab. Now I'll be honest, my speculation was just purely speculation. I didn't have any insider information or anything back then, and I still don't. But I still feel like this year's HasLab is going to be the Cobra Rattler. Now, I've seen some people, and I had to laugh at this because the moment I saw this shirt from BMAC, who those of you who collect Transformers have seen him on the Transformer live streams, but now he's also joined the GI Joe team. Emily is still part of the GI Joe team, but according to what they said in the fan stream, she was busy with other things, I guess getting ready for San Diego or such. So BMAC was filling in for Emily during the GI Joe live stream, but he was wearing this shirt that actually, sorry, yeah, you guys. So he's wearing this shirt that obviously that's the Cobra Rattler Cobra symbol, the Cobra symbol with the wings, which is featured on the Cobra Rattler. So I've seen people being like, "Oh, are they trying to tell us something? Is this what the HasLab's going to be?" And I was like, "How long is it going to take people to start saying, oh, well, he's wearing this shirt, so that must be what the HasLab's going to be?" And I don't know if that was meant to be a hint or not. I mean, it very well could just be a random shirt that he threw on. They probably told him like last minute, "Hey, dude, we need you to basically be on the GI Joe fan stream tomorrow." So he may have just grabbed his shirt for that. Who knows? But I still, like I said, several months ago, I speculated it was going to be his tank. So we'll find out in a few weeks. We've got the Star Wars HasLab that's going to kick off this Friday, and that'll run for several weeks. And then, next month, middle of next month, we'll find out what the GI Joe HasLab is going to be. But again, my money is on a Cobra Rattler. And I will also tell you, as far as like the hooded Cobra Commander, so obviously I'm sure people were disappointed that the retro cardback figure that they announced didn't include a hooded Cobra Commander. But I told you on Monday, I said, my guess is it's less about the hood itself and more about that if Hasbro gives us a hooded Cobra Commander, they are going to release it as a separate figure. They are not going to pass by the opportunity to essentially release the same figure with just a different head sculpt, getting, their money's worth for that Cobra Commander sculpt. So, of course, it would be the third time because we got the body in his tank version with the Mickey Mouse symbol. Now we're getting the retro card back with the regular Cobra symbol and the vac metal faceplate. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they take that exact same body and stick a hood on it and release it as a third figure. But I also, just because the hood is a little bit controversial, at least in Hasbro's eyes, so based on rumors, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised if the hooded Cobra Commander gets released as some type of exclusive, even possibly maybe as one of the stretch goals for this year's HasLab. Which, even if it's not the Cobra Rattler, which again, I still think it probably is almost definitely going to be some Cobra vehicle. So, we'll have to wait and see, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up seeing uh, a hooded Cobra Commander figure offered with this year's HasLab, essentially as an exclusive. I never do business with friends. Uh, I'm not sorry, I'm not sure what that was for. Footloose, man. Kevin Bacon is connected to every. I don't know if Footloose was named after the movie or not, but he was, surfs up type dude. Sean's in the house. What's up? Yeah, CJ actually. Yeah, that was the one. They only gave us one name reveal, and they waited till. Usually they gave us the name reveals first, but they waited till the very end, and they gave us the name reveal of Footloose. Too many airplanes for HasLab. Time to get the Joes a tank. Well, again, I think they're going to go back and forth. So, first year was a Cobra vehicle, last year was a GI Joe vehicle. So this year is going to be a Cobra vehicle, is my guess. Um, and we already got a Cobra tank, so now we're going to get an air vehicle. The first vehicle we got through HasLab for GI Joe was an air vehicle. My guess is next year we will see some type of ground vehicle. I don't know if it's going to be a straight up tank, but it will probably be a ground vehicle. Um, if they do a tank for GI Joe, it's probably going to be the Mauler over the Mobat, but I wouldn't be surprised if that could be next year's HasLab. But this year, I definitely think it's going to belong to Cobra, and I think it is going to be an air vehicle for Cobra. So when you have your Dragonfly, you've got something for it to fight, have an air battle with. Though at some point, I'm sure they will do a Cobra Fang, but that won't be a HasLab because it's too small of a vehicle. Or it says, "Don't put that hooded head in the HasLab." Well, it's not my decision. I'm just speculating because I don't think they're going to do a hooded Cobra Commander as a general release. So it's going to be, in my view, if they do the hood, it's going to be some type of limited exclusive release. And the HasLab seems like the most appropriate way for them to do that. So again, that's just my speculation, but skunk. No, even if they threw out a so-called date, I'm going to say it's going to be at the end of the year, as most of the HasLabs generally ship out towards. So I'm thinking November, December timeframe. Um, but I don't know if they've actually set any date. But again, even if they set a date that was sooner, I wouldn't hold. My guess is they won't actually get it shipped out until November, December timeframe. Maybe October, but November, December would be my guess. Judge Dreads, yeah, I saw that. It's a beige tank, but it's a generic tank. So, I mean, if you just want to have a tank, I mean, you can probably there there are companies, there are local. You can go on Amazon, I think, and find tank generic tanks, but they don't. Even though it's like the Raymond one, it's a beige tank, but it doesn't really. It's not like the Mauler. It's not like they copied the Mauler um, to release it under a number name. They're making a generic tank that is beige. So I definitely would rather wait and get an actual vehicle that looks like the Mauler if they end up doing that. I want a retro breaker. They really need to do that. I do not like the one that comes with the Ram. You know, I think at some point they'll get around to doing reissuing all the figures on retro card back, and Breaker being that originally came with the vehicle is probably a good candidate for that. So maybe not this year, but I definitely think that's probably very likely to happen. See you later, Rich. All right. So, other thing they talked about during the live stream, again, I mentioned how they started talking about at the very end an exclusive, which I'm assuming is the San Diego Comic Con exclusive for GI Joe this year. And there have been some rumors about this year's San Diego Comic Con, but I'm not sure how valid those rumors were. the clue that they gave about this exclusive was it's going to be powerful. That was the word they used. And honestly, when I thought of that, I thought about Nemesis Enforcer, which we do know is coming. That is a figure they've told us is coming. We've seen some leaked prototype images for like the head sculpt and such for Nemesis Enforcer to leak out. So it made me think that maybe this year's San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for G.I. Joe is going to be some type of Cobra Law box set. So with Nemesis Enforcer. So Nemesis Enforcer is the only Cobra Law figure that they've given us the name for, but that doesn't mean it's the only one that they're going to release. So, and supposedly this is from the recent Skybound comic book, and this is supposedly what the classified version of Nemesis Enforcer is going to be looking like. So, maybe an early look at that. But I'm thinking box set. They did the Cobra Law guys as a 3-pack back in the day with the Soldier, generic Cobra Law Soldier, Globulus, and Nemesis Enforcer, or back then. But I could see them doing maybe a box set with Pythona, Globulus, Nemesis Enforcer, and maybe the Soldier as well. So maybe a 4-pack with elaborate packaging and everything. So again, just speculation, but like I say, when they were talking about this exclusive yesterday and they used the word power, that was the first thing that came to my mind was, actually, you guys weren't, sorry. This is the image of Nemesis Enforcer I was talking about. So, and we know again, he's coming. But then, like I say, they did this 3-pack back in the day, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ended up being this year's exclusive. Just speculation on my part, no inside information. That's just my guess. And again, I've seen rumors of other figures named, like I want to say like Raptor or Crystal Ball, something like I forget, but it was one of those like weird characters that we know is coming to the line, but I feel like powerful doesn't really describe those guys, so that's really what that's my theory. Yeah, if they do a box set, it definitely needs to have Pythona. At the very least, it should be a 3-pack with Globulus, Nemesis Enforcer, and Pythona. But I think if they throw in a Cobra Law Soldier, maybe even 2, if they want to do a 5-pack, throw in 2 Cobra Law Soldiers, that would be pretty cool. And don't forget, we've got the Once-a-Man Cobra Commander figure that is coming to the line as well. So I suppose that could even be included in the box set as well if they wanted to. Eric says Cobra Law set would be welcomed in my house. Yeah, if they did a Cobra Law box set, I definitely would be getting it. Judge Dredd says he has a lot of Leonard takes. Yeah, like I say, if you just want a generic tank, I think you probably could find one out there, probably cheaper than what Raymond would be offering. But all right, so that's pretty much it for GI Joe. Yeah, I don't think there was anything else that came out of yesterday's. They did say that they were going to be doing an unboxing video soon for the Cobra Stinger. So my guess is that'll come out probably the week that it goes up for pre-order. So essentially 3 weeks from now. So they'll have that. Somebody had asked on Facebook about the Dragonfly. Like they were like, why haven't we gotten any updates on the Dragonfly? And I was watching one of the review interviews that the Joe team was doing. I think it was with A Toy Kind of Mood. I think it was in that interview where where the Emily had apologized for the lack of updates on the Dragonfly, and indicated that they would be putting out something soon. And basically, these weren't her words, but kind of reading in between the lines, my interpretation of what she said was, we're like short staffed now because, Hasbro did all these layoffs. And so now many of us who are left are essentially doing the job of like 3 different people, as often happens when layoffs happen. The people who get to keep their jobs end up having to take on additional work. So I think, maybe they were getting a little stretched thin, and that's why there's been a lack of updates on the Dragonfly. But again, those weren't her actual words, but when I was listening to them talk about it, that was kind of my interpretation. CJ, yes, Cobra Law troops are called Royal Guard troops. I think if they were going to do a good box set, it would be cool to give us the guards, but I would be happy with just Pythona, Globulus, and Nemesis Enforcer. I could even see them. A lot of times they'll do stuff like they do it with the HasLabs, where like they'll offer a HasLab and then they'll sell figures that go along with the HasLab as separate items, usually as Pulse exclusives. I guess they haven't done that with like San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, but I could even see them doing like the 3-pack as a box set for San Diego, and then doing like a 2-pack with the Royal Guard sold separately as a Pulse exclusive or something. Corn Viper, it makes sense the Transformer team is taking on G.I. Joe work. Well, again, I think also some of it is just as they've reduced their workforce, people are having to take on double duty. So, I mean, yes, there's definitely a correlation between G.I. Joe and Transformers, but, you kind of would hope that the people working on G.I. Joe can fully concentrate on G.I. Joe, while the people working on Transformers can fully work on Transformers. But that would be a perfect world, and we definitely don't live in a perfect world. That's right. I got a NECA Assassin's Creed, and it's an excellent, nice. I think I have that figure. Are you talking about the one they did several years ago? I think I have that figure. All right, so actually, that's a good segue. So we got our first NECA exclusive reveal for San Diego. So let me jump over to that news. So we talked about on Monday how they're going to be doing online pre-orders for San Diego Comic-Con exclusives from June 26th to June 28th. And now we're starting to get our reveals. So this is our first reveal. It is a Predator Prey figure. So they did the red Target exclusive one, which you might still be able to find at Target stores. I saw one, it was released during Target Haulathon, but I saw one like a week or so ago. But this one is more of a clear, translucent plastic. Definitely a interesting head sculpt there, with the translucent like dreads or whatever you want to call those. But that is our first NECA San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So the Pharaoh camo reveal Predator is what they're calling it. So your first NECA San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And I don't know how often. I mean, obviously we've got a little ways to go until June 26th, but obviously they'll have announced all their exclusives by June 26th. So I don't know if it'll be like once a week. I don't even know how many they're going to be doing this year. So I don't know if it's going to be like a once a week reveal, or if they're going to just go on and reveal them all here pretty soon, like once a day type thing. I'm not sure, but again, that is your first NECA San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that has been revealed. And I'm sure there'll be something for Turtles. I don't know if, a lot of times they do movie Turtles, but I don't know if they're going to do movie Turtles. Why is it somebody always calls in the middle of live stream? But I don't know if somebody's going to do movie Turtles or I don't know if they're going to do movie Turtles this year for San Diego or not. But if not movie, then they'll probably do something for comic or cartoon. But definitely, I imagine there will be uh, turtle stuff offered. Eric, you have any insight on McFarlane Toys, Jay? I saw a case of 6 figures for the recent pre-order of Batman New Adventures, but they don't break down the figure count. Trying to know who gets double. I don't. I mean, yes, those went up for pre-order today. The New Adventure Batman figures, but I don't have a case breakdown. Sometimes Entertainment Earth sells them as a yeah. So this is listed as a case of 6. So I don't know. Well, it says a case of 6, but it doesn't break down. So yeah, I don't know. Usually they break it down. Let me try. See if McFarlane's store only has a bundle of 4, so one of each. So unfortunately, I don't have a case breakdown for you. It is weird that Entertainment Earth doesn't, being they're saying they're selling it as a case of 6. They don't break it down to how many are actually in the case. Since there's 4 figures, I assume at least 2 of them are going to be 2 per case, but I don't know which ones. So, but yes, going up for pre-order today. These are essentially reissues of the ones done by DC Direct several years ago, but Nightwing, Bane, Catwoman, and Joker with the hyenas. And they're about $25 each. So sorry, Eric, that I don't have an exact answer for you, but now in other McFarlane news, since we're now on to McFarlane, we have official images that have leaked out early ahead of Friday's pre-orders for the Batman Forever figures. So we'd seen these announced, and we got our first looks at these at WonderCon, but now we have some of the official images. So the Riddler, Batman, and he's wearing a more shiny suit that I think he wore towards the end of the movie. Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones, and Robin. And the Man Bat figure, which you can see back there in the background, is the Build-A-Figure. It was not really the Man Bat, but he was in Bruce Wayne's dream, essentially a really large bat. And again, these are going up for pre-order on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So they'll be available Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, your usual places. Amazon will have them as well. John asking if the Catwoman, going back to those new adventure figures, has a whip. And no, she comes with a cat, but no whip. Or wait, maybe she does. Let's see. I can't remember if the original figure had a whip or not. But it looks like down there at the bottom, it looks like there's a whip there. So it's not in like the loose images, but it does look like she might come with a whip. Um, Here as well, you can see the straight piece, though that might be part of the figure stand. Actually, I think both of those are part of the figure stand. Yeah, that's a little clamp and the little pole that sticks into the base. So, no, it does not look like she comes with a whip. And again, I don't remember if the original figure had a whip or not. Skunk Life Media says can't with those hip joints. Not sure if you're talking about the animated series figures or the Batman Forever figures. I mean, keep in mind again, these are reissues from figures that were released over 5 years ago. I forget exactly when these were released, but it's been some time now. They were definitely, they are very hard to stay standing. If you've collected any of the DC Direct animated series figures, you definitely need those figure stands, even though honestly, those figure stands are not great. But it says reissues with less accessories and more expensive. I don't, these cost 25. I don't remember the original price on these, but I think they were more expensive or they were less expensive than $25. Big Bad Toy Store had briefly some of the Platinum Series figures, but they have all sold out, or at least Penguin and Starfire had sold out. Boomerang is sold out as well now as well. Though I have seen people starting to find these at Target stores as well, these Platinum versions. I don't even bother with the Platinum figures. I'm like, when I see them, I'm like, yeah, there's no chance I'm going to find those in stores. So I just basically don't even stress over them. I'm not a fan of the Platinum Edition thing, but Todd's going to do Todd. So for you Mondo fans, this is kind of interesting. So Pixel Dan had this reveal. He put this video up on the weekend. But for you 12-inch Masters of the Universe fans, we're getting a new Scareglow figure. They've done Scareglow before, but we're getting Scaremare, the horse. So, Pixel Dan, if you want to check out his video on this, and go over to his channel. But he's given us our first look at that. So is McFarlane done with Batman animated series figures? These are the new adventures, or is it all the same line? I don't honestly know how McFarlane views them, but I kind of view them as all the same line. So is anything truly? I mean, I think right now they are focusing on new adventures, but I think definitely we could see more of from the animated series as well. Judge Dredd says he likes the horse, but it's what, yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be expensive, and I wouldn't know where I would put it anyway. Eric says they're separate lines. Technically I would agree, but again, I always viewed them as the same line, different cartoons, but essentially extensions of everything. I mean, I always view New Adventures Batman as Batman animated series. It was just they kind of renamed it, but I always considered it all basically the same series, same voice actors and everything. Animation style was a little bit different, and I prefer the animation style to the Batman animated series over the New Adventure Batman. But for the most part, I always consider it as pretty much the same series. Same thing with like the Justice League cartoon. I always in the Superman cartoon. I always pretty much considered those all part of the same universe. All right, well, we're coming up on the hour, so definitely, I think, some pretty good things coming for GI Joe. I definitely can't wait to hear about the HasLab, which again I'm hoping is the Cobra Rattler, and if the Cobra Law box set is my theory about this year's San Diego Comic Con exclusive, I definitely will be getting that. As far as like this week's pre-orders for GI Joe, I definitely want to get Alpine. Um, I'm almost hesitant to get the Grenadier figures until I see Destro, but I'll probably at least pick up one of each of those. The one I'm least interested in on those is the Storm Shadow version 2, because like I said, to me, I always prefer Storm Shadow as a Cobra, not a Joe, and I already have my go-to Storm Shadow figure with the one that they already released. It's the DCAU. Yeah, but back then we didn't have like little terms like that. I don't, nobody ever said, "Oh, look, it's the DC." That kind of came about more in more recent years, with the MCU and stuff. Back then we just watched the cartoons and we didn't really question. All right, but as always, guys, thank you for joining me today. As always, now on Friday, I will do just a regular pre-recorded news video recapping a lot of the things that we talked about in the live stream, plus anything new that happens between now and Friday. So, for those of you who don't really like the live stream format, again we'll have a regular video on Friday, and then be back on Monday with another live stream. But as always, guys, thank you for coming in, chatting with me. And until next time, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,